This video is sponsored by Tarot Stack. Hey there, cozy babe, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Chloe Taylor, and today we are going to be reading your tarot cards. I'm not actually sure what the message for this reading is going to be yet. You'll know by the title based on what we get into. But today we're also doing intention candles, which we haven't done them in a long time, and I feel like I always bring them back in the summer. I don't know why, because it's like the hottest time of the year to be doing this, but I was really feeling pulled creatively and for the collective to include them in this reading. So if you've never done an intention candle, you will know when we get into it. But if you're new to Pick a Cards, allow me to give you a brief explanation or a brief introduction, and then we'll get into your reading. So you can choose any of the piles listed here, any of the different candle colors you might be drawn to. If you look at the timestamps, there may be a number synchronicity that you see that can help you kind of decide which to choose. There are no wrong answers here. Literally, you can choose one pile, you can choose all four piles. It's whatever you feel called to. I would encourage you also, if you feel any kind of resistance to a pile, to click that one, because oftentimes what you are resisting is what you are needing the most. And without further ado, we're going to get into it, starting here from pile number 1 with the gold candle. Pile 2 is purple, pile 3 is light blue, pile 4 will be dark blue, but we're going to get into it starting from the rose gold candle here. All right, pile number 1, if you chose the rose gold candle, this is going to be your reading and your intention candle, which we have a lot more cards to get through. But first, I do just want to give a shout out to Tarot Stack that is sponsoring our video today. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for continuing to sponsor us. And like, honestly, y'all, thank you for allowing me to do ad placements in my videos. I appreciate it. They help me to pay my bills, to live, and to eat as a creator. So I really appreciate you tuning in for a moment while I talk about them. But Tarot Stack, y'all already know we work with them all the time. They are a tarot deck online distributor. They distribute indie decks from tarot card readers all over the world. Every deck that we use today is going to be a deck that you can purchase on Tarot Stack. And if you didn't see it in my last sponsored video, Tarot Stack and I actually recently put out a summer bundle together. We will be using the decks from that summer bundle today as well, so I will be linking that down below for you. And thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for, you know, feeding your creator. Thank you so much for feeding a creator, supporting an independent creator, another one here on YouTube. I'm so incredibly grateful. So let's go ahead and get into this. So we're going to start with your intention candle, pile number 1. So the rose gold candle, to me, gold candles of any kind, whether they are yellow gold, rose gold, or even silver, to me, they really embody the energy of the self. They embody kind of a new beginning for the self. You want to bring in new magnetic energy, having a wish granted, wish fulfillment. And I would also argue that using metallic candles can help you connect to ancestral work. So you can use it based on those themes at this time, or you can use this for anything that you want to bring into your life right now. And just take a moment, and we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths together. I want you to imagine what it would feel like. Pause the video if you don't know yet and you want to like meditate on it. What you want to bring into your life right now, whether it's a feeling. I would argue that most of the things we want in life, they're based on how we want to feel. So really address, like, is it a feeling of excitement, joy, connection, love? You know, what is the feeling that you want to embody by calling this into your life? And just imagine what that could look like in your mind's eye. If you are not able to imagine, you can also just affirm it to yourself out loud. And I would say pause this video if you need a moment to think on that. But we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths, envisioning that for ourselves. So, well, you do it at your own pace, but I'll do a couple of deep breaths here with you. One more. Really holding that vision or affirming to yourself what it is that you're calling into your life. And now we're going to take our enchanted lighter, and I'm going to go ahead and give this candle a light. And you're really fortunate pile one because I'm going to light all the candles on this same disc, I think, for today. And you're going to actually probably get to see your candle all the way through in this video. Whatever doesn't burn down, I leave on my altar at the end. But we're just going to put that over into the corner over here and let it burn. And if I notice anything with the candle flame, I'll definitely let you know. But just be open to receiving what you set intention for today. I believe wholeheartedly in candle magic. It really does work. I've used it numerous times in my own life. But let's go ahead and get into your reading. Okay, so right off the bat, we have the 10 of crystals. We have the 5 of blades. We have the Page of Blades reversed. We have the Queen of Blades reversed and the Ace of Cups reversed. Okay, bestie. These cards represent the energy that you are currently in. So what I am seeing and getting from this, you have been doing a lot. You are definitely on a fast train to burning out. I say that because with the 10 of Wands, this is really a card that talks mainly about taking on, like biting off more than you can chew, taking on way more than you can actually energetically handle. And I'm also seeing with the 5 of Blades, this is about having a victim mentality. And with a victim mentality, I myself, have gone through this in my life. It's very common. You can't become the hero of your own story until you have been a victim first. But the thing is, I am seeing so many other reversals of things that you aren't doing that are keeping you in this place. You keep going through this vicious cycle of feeling like a victim of circumstance, and then you're like, you sit and you ruminate in this and you feel really sad and let down that like divine is not helping you, that you're taking on too much, you're having to do it all, you don't have any, it's honestly, you are disrespecting yourself, frankly. And what happens is you get into this really sad place and then you pop out and you go, actually, I'm going to try again. I'm going to pull myself up again. I'm going to commit myself. I'm going to recommit to this practice. I'm going to recommit to doing all of these things. But the problem is you keep shifting back and forth between these things, and the things that you actually need to give to yourself to get out of this cycle are basically what this entails. So the Page of Blades, this is a new idea. Having it reverse means that you're not acting on your ideas. You're letting ideas basically just pile up and you're not taking action. I'm also hearing from Spirit that you might be somebody that really struggles with a perfectionist mindset. And you struggle because you are always trying to perfect every little thing that you do instead of just starting, instead of just trying, instead of just putting it out there and letting it be imperfect. And as somebody that has struggled with perfectionism, I really empathize with you. I know what this looks like. I am a extremely seasoned online content creator. I have been through my burnout, girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight, girl bossing too close to the sun era for over a decade. And I feel like you're probably attracted to my energy as a reader because I'm able to actually guide you through these things, because I have not only the psychic sight, but the real life, practical, grounded experience of this firsthand. So what I want to say about the Page of Blades, though, is that if you keep letting yourself down by not allowing yourself to explore these ideas and just let them be ideas, you're letting yourself down so often that you've lost rapport with yourself. You don't trust yourself to carry things out anymore. And then it leads to feelings of inner turmoil. It leads to feelings of anxiousness or feeling like you have your foot on the gas and your foot on the brakes at the same time. It's very disorienting. And what you need to do more of is just choose one idea and just decide to try. Just decide to try. Queen of Blades being reversed, you're also not setting appropriate boundaries. And the way through this is to start setting boundaries, to start demanding the things in your life that you do want. And it is going to be scary at first. Every time you lay a boundary down with someone, you're going to learn a lot about them, because if you lay a boundary down, you should expect 9 times out of 10 that boundary is going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged because what you were giving to someone before, they were benefiting from that. And if you're not willing to let them benefit from you in that way anymore because you need something different, there is going to be a reaction from them. And it happens like literally even with my most prized relationships, like my own husband. If I have to lay a boundary down with him, there is always this like push and pull. It's not because he can't hold it. It's not because he wants to disrespect me. It's that it's a change. You're throwing a change out there, and sometimes it takes throwing the boundary out there more than once before the other person starts to get it. It takes more conversations. It takes communicating more effectively. And I do think there is this like toxicity in today's culture where somebody doesn't respect your boundaries once and you just decide to cut them off. Like, that is not how we're going to solve human problems. Not to say that you need to be a doormat and let yourself get walked all over. That's not the point. The point is, it's okay to double back and have another conversation. And it's okay to do it a couple of times. You know, eventually you do have to decide, like, hey, is this worth my mental peace if they're not getting it? But just doing it immediately, you know, sometimes it takes a little more grace and a little more finesse than that. And the Queen of Blades, though, ultimately tells me that right now you have not been respecting your own boundaries and you haven't been laying down boundaries and actually saying what you need. If you need your partner to be contributing to household funds, you need to tell them that. It is okay to ask for that. I'm hearing that for someone really specific for some reason. That came through that like maybe you're the breadwinner or you feel like you have to do it all. Spirit is saying that you need to actually hit them with the hard truth that you're not willing to do that and they need to contribute. What else? I'm also hearing for some of y'all with the Queen of Blades reversed, you're not holding boundaries with your time. Like you want to create and do things, but you're not holding appropriate time boundaries with yourself. You're like letting yourself get stuck on an Instagram loop with that like hijacked dopamine. You're letting yourself like, and don't get me wrong, I think it's fine to be on social media if that's where you're intentionally wanting to be. But most of us are not intentional about it. Most of us just do it out of boredom. And it's like you say you don't have time, but there is time available. There is time for certain things, but you need to have better boundaries with where you're putting your time in your life. And then the Ace of Cups showing up reversed, you are not filling up your cup. That makes me really sad as a self-care queen myself. Literally, this might be a stretch for some people, but I'm going to give you some like, this is literally how I took back my self-care in my life. And if y'all don't know, I'm a story healer. Before I'm a tarot card reader, I will always give you a story to help you internally understand. But with the Ace of Cups being reversed, I was seeing this a lot in my own life. And the two things that I did that became non-negotiables in my life, I believe wholeheartedly that you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. And because I live by that and I value that, it is a core value of mine. The two things that I have changed in my life that have made a big impact is number one, on Sundays, every single week, that is my self-care day. I don't care what anybody else wants to do. I'm not making plans unless they align with my self-care goals. I do all of my like lotions, potions. I wash my hair that day. I do all of my meal planning that day. I have groceries delivered, which is something I've like never could have imagined I would ever be able to afford. So that was really cool to manifest that. I have my groceries delivered. I write the new menu plan for the week. Things that actually nourish my foundation. I write out my work schedule for the week. And then after I've done those things, I spend my day however I want to. If it's outside reading in my hammock, that's what I'm going to do all day. If it's laying in bed and watching Netflix and scrolling Instagram, and that's how I want to intentionally spend my time, that's what I'm going to do all day. There's the Sunday is my day. I don't let anybody else take that over. And then the secondary thing that I really feel like made a huge difference is I am somebody that has a menstrual cycle. I do not work during the week of my menstrual cycle. This is actually something that I'm going to talk a lot more about on my channel because I think it is the way forward. I think we should be demanding this from the world if you are somebody that has that. that menstruates, we should be demanding that of the world. There is no reason that we should all be convinced that we need to swim in the ocean, horseback ride, and be working strenuous hours when our bodies are demanding and craving rest. And obviously, don't be a no nuance Nelly. There are people that really thrive when they're on their cycle and want to work. I'm not talking to you. But 1 week out of every 28 days or so, I do not work. I don't care if I have deadlines to meet. I don't care if I have promised a timeline and I can't meet that. I will tell that person, hey, that's the week of my cycle. I will not be doing that for you. Or I will come back to a client the week after and be like, hey, sorry, this was running a little late. My cycle came because I do have PCOS, so I don't always have a cycle that is consistent. Working on it though. But because I don't always know, it does kind of take me by surprise. And I just don't believe that anybody that has that experience should be made to work. I just don't. I think we need to do society better. So I perpetuate that in my own work. I demand that time off for myself. And I know some of y'all are hearing this and you're like, that is so unrealistic, but why? Like, why? Why is that unrealistic? No, it isn't. Be the change you want to see in the world. Come hell or high water. Like, those are two things that I did for myself that made a lot of sense. Now, for you, it might be something totally different, but you have to be having stronger boundaries and like really trusting yourself, because I also feel like this is a lot about not trusting the things that you internally believe, and it's killing the rapport that you have with yourself is my main point. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and use the Pixie Oracle just to get some more out of this reading. Oof. Big kiss. You got big kiss. I love that for you. Oh my gosh. I kissed myself. I'm so pretty. Perceptivity. I love that we got the moon for you and it's got this little like flame, because we're literally doing spell candles right now and tension candles. And butterfly portal. Apparently, oh my gosh, I hate it when my camera does this. Don't do that. There we go. Butterfly portal. I really feel for you, pile number one, you really resonated with what I just said. And if you didn't, I would encourage you to go back to the pick of cards and pick again, because the moon showing up to me really, it is the moon cycle, right? Obviously if you're somebody that doesn't menstruate, disregard, but perceptivity. Spirit is asking me to talk about this a little bit more. So I'm just going to go in a little harder. If you want a podcast on this, please let me know. I would love to sit and talk about the menstrual cycle and like what my routine around that is and how I use that as such a prophetic time in my life. So if you want to hear more about this, please let me know. I would be more than happy to sit down and talk about it. But during my cycle, I am like insanely prophetic. I have a journal that I keep for only the time that I bleed. And I write down my dreams. I write down, if I have any like prophetic dreams. I write down my goals, what I want to change. I problem solve, not like mathematical equations, but like if I'm having problems, I write them out, and I swear to you, I am able to physically channel in writing the answer that I needed. It's like a really like intensely divine time for me, and it changes my perceptivity. I'm able to perceive so much greater because I'm not taking all of this action in my life. I'm allowing myself to release and recuperate. And I feel like talking about that moon cycle, you needed to hear that. I'm also hearing that you need to shift your perspective. Your self-concept is really struggling right now, and you need to shift your perspective. I always encourage, if you need a perspective shift, get on YouTube and look for people that are teaching that. You can get that free, I swear. I really like Rita Kaminsky. I feel like she does such a good job at teaching like Neville Goddard principles and changing your self-concept. There's a lot of self-concept creators online though. Maybe that could also be a podcast topic. Big kiss. I feel like this is not about kissing another person. This is about learning to become self-obsessed and loving yourself. Buy yourself the damn flowers, basically. Another creator that's good for this, if you're struggling with self-love and self-acceptance, is Tamkaur. Tamkaur, I think is how you say it or spell it. She's here on YouTube. Fantastic when it comes to self-love and self-care. Really teaches you a lot of concepts, shadow work, things like that. But I feel like I just see you like sitting in a mirror and like blowing kisses at yourself. Like this is something else that is needed of you right now. Butterfly portal, you are literally becoming a version of yourself that you've never been before. I think you're scared of it because you're scared of disappointing people. You're scared of the abandonment that might come with that. And I see this like person in this mirror. It's upside down, but that's like what spirit is showing me is it almost looks like a person, and there's a mirror inside this butterfly symbol that's like kind of peering out, like, oh, this new version of me is kind of peering out. And it's time to embrace that person and that version of you wholeheartedly. Let's go ahead and use the below the surface oracle just to see if there's anything here that we're still missing from this reading. I feel like everybody's reading is going to be so different today. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. Blue Well, ultimate fulfillment. Dream big, it will all work out. Okay, I love this because ultimately, everything is always conspiring in your favor. Like, please take that as an affirmation. I know that even when things aren't working out, it's hard to believe that. The amount of times in my own life that something hasn't worked out, but then I've been grateful later that it happened the way that it did. Like, let me give you another example of this. In my own life, as a story healer, in my own life, I have struggled with panic attacks at like multiple points now. And this last cycle that I went through was really, really intense. And like to the point that I was having like derealization, depersonalization. It was really scary. And something that I came to realize more recently, because I'd really been struggling with like, why is this happening? How is this serving me? If I'm to believe that everything is always working out in my favor and the universe is always listening, what is this serving for me? How is this possibly helping me? And if y'all don't listen to my podcast, you really should. I promise this is not a big podcast promo. It just happens to be relevant to what I'm talking about. I've talked extensively about how I am like gearing up to be prepared for motherhood. I'm not pregnant, but I would like to be. And I'm in like the pre-phase of trying to like get my hormones on track and work on myself so that I can be there. And it's really cool too, because I feel like all the spiritual baddies online are pregnant right now. And I just keep reminding myself when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be next. Me too, me too. I love using manifestation that way. When you see somebody out there receiving what it is that you want, be like, oh my God, I'm next. The universe is just showing me what's coming for me next. So like, me too, me too. But I recently recognized that I have gone through these really heavy time periods of deep depression, deep darkness, really sitting in the void for like 6 months at a time. Because when you go through the transformation of motherhood, it is such a big, chaotic experience. I'm not saying it's not beautiful and loving too, but genuinely it is chaos. You are putting yourself into the unknown and surrendering to that. And if I hadn't had this experience of having to mentally surrender, there's no way. Like it made me so much more mentally strong that I'm not afraid of pregnancy or childbirth anymore at all. Like I'm willing to be open to the chaos that I know will ensue. Even if I have like the easiest pregnancy and easiest delivery, it's still chaos of a kind. And I really feel like the experiences that I've had have been preparing me for that. So just like really crazy insight. But my point is that like everything is always working out for you. Why wouldn't you want to dream as big as possible in this lifetime? And I would encourage you, if this is something that you struggle with, I have a masterclass on my website, KhloeTaylor.com. You can also get it via my Patreon if you would rather listen to it there, which I think you save a couple bucks by getting it through Patreon. But if you want to just like own it for life and it's just yours flat rate, you can get it through my website as well. But it's called Vision Board to Destiny. The masterclass is fantastic, but the workbook that comes with that masterclass, it walks you through basically getting yourself to dream bigger and breaking down all of the reasons why you think you can't have it so that you can transcend that. And I swear to you, it is the method that I use to get everything I want in my life. And it fucking works. Pardon my French. But if you're struggling to dream big, I highly encourage you to take a look at that. Okay, next thing we have is Power of Choice, African Lionfish. Place your attention on gratitude. Listen, bestie, I'm not here to tell you that like you should be toxically positive. I'm not telling you that you should like, because I do think that there are negative sides to that, to like putting all of this positive energy into yourself and not integrating your shadow. And we don't want to do that. We need a balance of both. However, you always do have a choice. In any given moment, you have a choice in terms of like, please remember, I am not a mental health professional. I am not here to give psychological advice, and do not use my readings for like the place of that ever. I need to say that disclaimer for what I'm about to say. But like something that really changed my life mentally when I was like really in this, what I see for you here is there was another creator that I was watching that said that like had a psychological background, and they were like, this is a hot take, but disassociation is a choice. In the moment, you do have a choice, whether you're going to let yourself disassociate or you're going to choose to ground yourself in this present moment. And that actually changed my life for the better, because I was like, oh, it kind of gave me my power back and made me realize that I didn't have to surrender to this really intense feeling. I could actually choose whether I wanted to be here or I didn't. And I know that might be like a really crazy thing to hear. And I'm not trying to like, you know what, I'm not going to stipulate it. I said what I said. And it was something that helped me. But the reason I bring that up, because it is a power of choice. You know, we hear all the time in this like day and age where it's like, oh, just don't think about your anxiety. Ha ha. It's not don't think about it. It's gain the tools wherever you can to reframe it, to not be afraid of it. Because the more you fear the way that you feel and the things that you think, the more they're going to perpetuate until you say, you know what, I'm not afraid of you and I'm going to sit with you and it's okay. And genuinely, that's how I've worked through like all of my mental health problems, has been learning to befriend those feelings, those bodily sensations, and not being scared of them, because they're just feelings and they will pass, because they always do. And I don't know why I feel so strongly in your reading to talk to you about this, but I feel like you've been placing your attention in the wrong place, possibly in the wrong people, in the wrong endeavors. And Spirit is saying it's time to use your power of choice, which is a gift, to change your circumstances. Okay, we're going to pull a couple of body cards as well from, what is this deck called? I think it's like the Your Wise Body or something. It'll be linked down below. Ooh. Okay, there's your two. You got Ritualize and Rest. Okay, so, gosh, I really think I need to make that podcast episode for y'all. So ritualizing more of your life, getting back in touch with your spiritual nature. And like a ritual doesn't even have to be spiritual. A ritual could be like in the morning, taking a shower, having your protein, vitamins, and like doing your skincare. That's a ritual, you know? It can be getting into a spiritual ritual, but Spirit is saying that your life needs a little bit more ritual. It's something that would actually help your body to feel more calm. And then rest. I don't even think I need to elaborate on this one, because you know for yourself what rest looks like. Okay, and then lastly, we're gonna pull, actually not lastly, I have so many, like, ugh, I'm just really happy with the changes I'm making to the channel. We have a really cool segment at the end of your reading, so like please stick around when like until the very end of your reading. Like after I give myself a little shout out for everything I do, there's something cool at the end of your reading. Okay, so we're gonna pull a bloom card for you. Just what is the medicine that pile number 1 is needing to hear right now? What is the medicine? Bear paw succulent. Okay, I'm not familiar. I need to like cover this card. There we go. I'm not super familiar with this card, so I am gonna visit the book just to see what this is actually about. I have not pulled this one before. But bear paw succulent. Oof. It is on page 11. I don't know if we'll read the whole thing, but let's see. Ease Bounty Sucker. The bear paw is a succulent species. Da 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 da. Okay. The bear paw brings joy and whimsy to all that sees it. So this card embodies that spirit and radiates happiness and success. Receiving this card could be a sign that good things will be coming your way. Allow yourself to have a breather and spend more time in the good company around you. You might want to rethink taking up heavy lifting in the upcoming days and take it easy instead. Listen to your body, and if you need to, rest. You literally got the rest card too. Abundance is flowing freely now, and this is your sign that it's finally time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy whatever happiness you've recently found, and bask in the contentment. Don't be afraid to pamper yourself. This card could also indicate success after a struggle. Succulents are famous for thriving even with sparse resource. You may feel like you're lacking assistance and resource of your own, but you are a survivor, and despite how slow and difficult it seems, what you've been working towards will soon come to fruition. After winter comes the spring, and after the drought comes the rainstorm. Your environment may be testing you, but adversity precedes bounty. Through your hardship and challenges, you will evolve to be a master of your environment. You will reap the benefits that follow in no time. All of your hard work is about to blossom into something prosperous, and you will be well rewarded for your resilience. Ooh, I got the chills for you, bestie. I don't even want to embellish. That is what it is. All right, so that is the reading. But like I said, there's an extra segment in your reading that I'm now putting into this channel because I think it's a beautiful thing. And the first thing I want to say is, if you'll allow me a moment to just talk about all my things, then we will get to your special surprise. First and foremost, thank you, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring this video. Check it out down below. Don't forget to check out my website where I offer private readings as well as courses. We have that Vision Board to Destiny, Authentically Aligned, which my course has been on sale. It's $167 off using code ECLIPSE2024. It's a 4-week course that leads you through basically resetting your life. I also have my Patreon where I put out exclusive content. So I do things like vlogging, extra pick-a cards, tarot and astrology updates, and it's just a good time. I love our Patreon community, and it literally supports all of the work that I do. My podcast, which is now available here on YouTube. This week, the first episode came to my channel. Actually, we have like 171 other episodes, but most of them are only in audio format. But if you'd like to follow that, it's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, don't forget to follow me around the web at Kloee Taylor. I'm the one with the check mark on Instagram. Do not follow any of the other scammers. I will never DM you, and I do not have a backup account. And if you listen to all of this, and especially if you listen to the last segment, please leave me the crescent moon emoji. It's just giving a vibe. Okay? Okay. All right. So now we are going to do the extra segment. So we're going to ask Siri to pick a number between 1 and 3. Number 1 is going to be tarot. Number 2 is going to be smut. Number 3 is going to be transformation. Hey Siri, can you pick a number between 1 and 3? She said it's 1. Unfortunately, I don't know why she didn't voice her opinion, but that means we're doing tarot. Sorry, I don't know why my camera cut off there, but she picked number 1. So you actually get an extra tarot reading. And what I'm going to do is actually pull from another deck here, which is an astrology deck. And you get an extended reading. Basically, this segment is I would have either talked to you about some smut that I've been reading more tarot cards for you, or more self-transformation on the spot. So tarot smut or self-transformation. Ooh, the 9th house. Okay, so Spirit wanted you to be aware of the 9th house upcoming for you. The 9th house is the house of Sagittarius. It is the house of optimism, okay? It is about long-term travel, optimism, changing your mind. You are really being encouraged, pile number 1, to change your mindset. Your self-concept, your mindset, that is what is requiring the most work of you right now. You don't need to go out and do all of these external things. You are being asked to work on your mindset, and everything in your reality will change. So that is your extended reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you next time. I love you. Bye. All right, pile number 2, if you chose the purple candle, we have pile number 1's candle still going, but if you chose the purple candle, this is going to be your reading. And before we get into it, thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for allowing me to pay my bills, for allowing me to eat. I appreciate you. Thank you for all of y'all that are about to listen to this little ad placement, because it supports me. It helps me to put food on my table, so thank you. If you don't know about Tarot Stack, I love them to death. They literally are an online source that sells or like redistributes indie tarot decks. So all of the decks that we use today, you're going to see in this reading, they come from Tarot Stack. And recently, if you missed it, I actually put out a bundle this summer with Tarot Stack that is 2 tarot card decks together, and you can actually get a discount if you use my code. So all that information will be down below. All of the decks that we use today will be listed down below and linked for you if you'd like to get some. It feels better to order from them because you're getting an indie deck versus something that's just been like mass marketed, you know, mass produced. So definitely check it out, especially if you're in the mood for a new deck for yourself or for a friend. It's a great place to shop from. They are literally probably my favorite distributor. So definitely check them out. And without further ado, let's get into your intention candle. So your candle here, we are doing a purple candle for you. Purple corresponds to psychic energy, psychic sight. It also corresponds to like sleep and dreams. So you can set your intention based on any of those things. I would also argue that Sagittarius's color is also purple. And because of that, you can also think of like optimism for your life. You can use that candle with that intention. But ultimately, you can use it for whatever you want. So think about something that you want to call into your life right now. I would emphasize, think about the feeling that you want that thing to ignite in you. Because most of us, when we are searching for something or wanting something, we want to feel some type of way. So even if you want like a Birkin, it's how you want that Birkin to make you feel. If you want a loving relationship, it's not the physical person, it's how you want to feel in the confinement of that relationship, you know? So focus on the feeling. Take a moment to pause if you need more time to think about it. But let's go ahead and hold that intention and just take a couple deep breaths together. All right, one more. All right, I'm going to take my enchanted lighter. I'm going to give this a light. And basically, this candle is going to burn down, and whatever intention that you set with it, it's going to go, that energy is going to translate out into the universe and come back to you. I have a huge testimony of candle magic. I have done candle magic for, gosh, at least the last like 7 years, and it works extremely well for me. It's also very easy. So if you set intention over this candle with me today, I do believe that you will receive what you asked for. And if it doesn't burn out fully in this video, I will burn it, let it burn all the way out on my altar for you, and you will receive that. But let's go ahead and get into your reading. So first up, we have the Strength card. Okay, we have Strength, the Hermit, ooh, the Five of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and Justice. Okay, so what is going on here, bestie? I feel like you have been taking some alone time. Maybe you've also been feeling more alone, or you've been taking intentional alone time because you've gone through something difficult with another person, or it could be that you'd like lost a job, lost some kind of income. There's definitely this energy of loss with the Five of Cups. There's something that you've recently lost, and it's kind of soured your mood about life. You've been kind of clamming up into yourself, and I don't think that this is all bad. Like, this might be, but when I have Strength and the Hermit together, you are pulling back on your energy from the rest of the world intentionally. You are intentionally closing yourself off from other people so that you can regain your own inner strength. And the Five of Cups does tell me, though, that there is something that has recently happened in your life. I'm going to actually pull another card here and just ask Spirit what this is about. Spirit, what is this Five of Cups about? What have we recently lost? What has pile number 2 recently lost or feel like is just gone or missing in their life? Okay. Your vitality. Your vitality, your ideas, your passion, that's what feels like has gotten lost in the sauce for you. And Spirit is saying that this has been a time period of great reflection for you. You have gone through a huge time period where, like, almost like a void, I feel like. This to me is very similar of like a void space, which the void is like nothing. It literally feels numb and like nothing. But I don't want to say like depression, because I also, like, I'm not here to diagnose. I'm not a mental health professional. But it feels like, to me, the energy is this very like dark, nothing feels good, nothing feels exciting. You're dreading, honestly, like your day-to-day life. And it has caused you to kind of close down and pull back your strength. That said, I do feel that there is a balance that is coming, because we have the Eight of Pentacles here, which tells me that there is something that you're going to start working on that's going to make you feel better. You're going to be accomplishing something important that's going to feel good. And because of that, Spirit is saying that, like, things aren't going to feel so terrible. Like, there's going to be something, I don't know if it's like a work related thing, or you're going to start creating something. Like, this could literally be you like building Legos, okay? There's something that you're going to be building or working on that is going to help recreate balance in your life, because the Justice card, this tells me that whenever we go through a void or we go through terrible times, it's really hard to know that good times will come. It's really, really hard to know that things can and will get better. It's really hard in those deep, dark times to connect with a time period that felt joyful in your life. It feels like, it literally can feel like you're never going to feel joy again. Like, it's giving Dementor energy, to be honest. But Spirit is saying that the time will come that this won't be so difficult anymore. And you're already on your way through it. So let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to use this Pixie Oracle to get more information. Oh, I just bent my cards. My bad. That just means they're done being shuffled. Okay. Oh my gosh. Pile number 1 got this card too, the Butterfly Portal. So you got the butterfly portal, electric, and offerings. Okay. So there is something on the horizon that's going to electrify your life. Like I'm just literally hearing that with electric. Your life is going to feel more exciting, more magnetic. Your life is going to feel like it's full of electricity again. I'm also hearing that right now you are going through a transformation. That's what the butterfly portal is about. That you're in the cocoon stage before the butterfly comes out, basically. And something that you have to remember about the cocoon stage of the butterfly's evolution is butterflies, if we help them out of their cocoons, they wouldn't have the wing strength that they need to fly. So you're actually fortifying that right now. You're emerging from that cocoon, but it feels hard. And eventually you will fly. Spirit is also saying that you need to reconnect to your spiritual practice and offer something. So if you just want like me as a spiritual advisor to give you some advice on that, something I always do in my own practice when I am asking divine to assist me or help me or pull me out of something, I will show up to my altar with something, whether it's a plate of food, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. I also am often, especially if I'm working with like an ancestor and they had a drink that they liked, I am known to pour tequila on my altar, like not on it, but like in a glass or a shot glass. If I work with like the energy of my late sister, I will literally go to the store and get her a Corona. Like, I definitely believe, especially if it's like ancestor work, bring something to them that you know that they love. And it doesn't have to be in your house at an altar. Like, you could literally go to their grave site if it's somebody you know. I don't know why that's coming through so strong. I think some of you do need to rely on your ancestors a little bit. But Spirit is saying you need to make Spirit an offering. So you can light a candle. That's like a really easy way to connect as well. Even just offering a song. Like sometimes I will work with Apollo as one of my guides, and I will just play music on my TV that's next to my altar for him. Like Apollo is the god of music. And I'll just put music on and be like, Apollo, this one's for you. Like, vibe, go ahead. And I'll light the candle that I have for him. And that seems to go over really well. So just kind of learning what kind of offerings you could pick. Flowers, pick herbs. I would say, like, especially if you're needing a free resource, just go outside and, be respectful of the land, anything that you harvest. But you can even give like literally floral offerings like this card is suggesting. But Spirit is saying that through this transition, if you're wanting to be a little more divinely guided and protected, there is like, make an offering, show that you care, show that you want to nurture that connection, and you will be rewarded. Okay, now we're going to look at the below the surface deck and just see if Spirit has any information for us in terms of something we might be missing. A good time. Bottlenose dolphin, socialize and celebrate life. So Spirit is reminding you that in order to feel better, you do need to like, oh, and I hate this answer for you too, because I feel like I know what this feels like intimately, when you are like going through it. The last thing you want to do is like leave your house and be social. That sounds like a nightmare. I really respect that because again, I know what that feels like, but it's almost like, do you want to fight your anxiety or do you want to fight your depression? Like, going out might be more of an anxiety inducing thing, but staying in might also lead to like those feelings of emptiness or loneliness. And sometimes we have to pick our battles. And you might find that if you spend time with the right people, it actually starts to feel good. I think this is actually how you're going to start recalibrating and like getting back into balance. It's like you need to spend time with somebody that you can be giggly and fun with. Like truly in my own life, just to give you an example, as I am a story healer, in my own life, I was feeling extremely, and please remember, I'm not a mental health professional, just giving some life examples. In my own life, I had been feeling very depressed for probably the last like 6 months. And it'd been a really hard time for me. Like, I woke up on my 33rd birthday and literally cried my eyes out because I was just like, why am I even here? This place sucks. And, sometimes we go through those cycles. But something that, like, I'm not saying it cured my depressive feelings, but something that genuinely has made such a positive impact has been socializing with people that love and accept me exactly as I am right now and don't try to change or fix me. And I've spent so much time just conversing virtually with my best friend, and it has literally healed me. Like, just being able to be in that energy, it's like these two dolphins playing. How can you get into that energy of playing and remembering what it feels like to have a good time? Sometimes you have to fake it until you make it. I'm also being reminded of that like scene in the Sex and the City movie, if you have ever seen it, where Carrie asks her friends when she'll laugh again. She like forgets what it feels like to laugh. And her friend said like, you will when something is really, really, really funny. And then like one of their other friends craps her pants and they all are just laughing so hard they're like crying. And that's what I mean. Like, it's hard to see it when you're in it, but you will come out the other side. And it's like you almost need to fake it a little until you make it. Okay, excuse me. We have the psychedelic frogfish, conscious filtering. What are you consuming? Ooh, I've never seen this card before, I don't think. This card is very cut and dry, though. Where are you putting your energy right now? Where have you been putting your energy that isn't serving you right now? Because if you've been spending all of your time talking to people that don't inspire you, I'm sorry, you don't have a friendship, you have a cage. If you've been spending all of your time not like, your friends should want to see you succeed. Your friends should want to see you make your goals a reality. Your friends should celebrate your accomplishments. Your family in a good, like in the right life should also do that for you. And if they're not doing that for you, I'm not saying you need to cut people off left and right, but it's time to start putting some space and some distance and choosing the people that give that to you. And it doesn't make those people bad people. Like, it genuinely is just they might not be a good match for you right now. And there's something about the way you're consuming information that is not helping you. If you are constantly on Facebook every day, I have news for you. Delete the app, please. That, like, something that I have had to learn as a content creator and as a story healer that I think this might actually help you is there is literally social media. It is meant to keep your attention. It is meant to hold your attention. That's why it is made. Like, it is meant to hold your attention. So if you're consuming, even if you're just scrolling on Instagram, okay, or like Facebook and you're looking at reels, the way that you're allowing yourself to be triggered is astronomical. Because yeah, you might find a couple videos that resonate with you, that you enjoy, that give you a new perspective, but there are going to be, it's a shot in the dark. You never know what is going to come up next. And it leads to a hijacking of your emotions, and it also hijacks your dopamine because you get this little bite-sized instant gratification, and your brain loves that. All brains love that. It's unfortunately comes with the territory of being human. We love dopamine. We chase it. And the secondary thing that I said about like having your emotions hijacked, content a lot of time is made to be inflammatory. I don't believe that that's what I do here, but there is a lot of content and content creators out there that they know the squeakiest wheel gets the grease. Like sometimes I myself have to use a clickbait title because that's how I get the viewership that I need so that I can get paid. Like it does exist in this industry too. The point is, are you being conscious about where you're putting your attention? And have you assessed that recently? Because I think a lot of the stuff that's coming into your awareness, it's keeping you down. If you're constantly watching the same things, listening to the same voices, hearing the same perspectives, and they're not helping you, you're not going to get better if you're constantly consuming this. We all like to think, literally, all of us like to think that we are not impressionable. But I have news for you. Every single one of us on the face of this planet is impressionable. Like, we are all able to have our emotions hijacked. We are all able to be swindled. And it's unfortunate because we all like to think that we're better than that and that we could see it. But there are going to be ways in which we cannot always tell. And it comes down to our lived experience, the information that we consume. And there is ways to help be a conscious consumer. But I feel like right now you needed this talk. Like, you're not putting enough filters between the things that you're consuming, and it's taking away from your life essence. It's not helping you in any way. Okay, now we're going to look at the Wise Body deck. I think that's what it's called. And we're just going to connect into the body, see what your body needs at this time. Wash over. And ground. Okay, so what your body, and you actually got like some spiritual answers from your body, what you are needing right now, and it's really good time. We just had the full moon in Capricorn by the time you're seeing this. It's time to take a cleansing bath. If you don't have a bath, take a shower. You can do, there's actually the Witch's Moon. This is not sponsored, but I love them and I do work with them, especially on my Instagram. I don't unfortunately have an affiliate link for you, but I like, they're called the Witch's Moon. They recently started putting out body washes that help to cleanse your aura. And I use one from them once a week that I love for like getting my energy correct. And I do feel like with wash over, even though there's a different description of this in the book, I'm going based off my intuition here. You need some kind of a spiritual cleanse, a spiritual bath, if you will. Like I said, a shower will work just fine. If you have some kind of like scrub that you like using, normal soap is going to work just fine. The important part is that you either imagine that your aura is being cleansed as you're cleansing, and like all of you, not just a body shower, you got to get your hair wet too. Because it's like a baptism almost for yourself, figuratively speaking, or metaphorically speaking. Make sure that every part of you gets touched by that, and then let it wash over you. And if you can't imagine, you can affirm while you're in the shower. Like, I am cleansed, I am made whole, my aura is clean, things like that. And then getting into any kind of grounding practice that suits you. So you could put your bare feet on the earth. That's how I like to do it. But even going for a nature walk, practicing grounding meditation, grounding breathing, doing earth breath, which you can look that up if you want to know what that is. Earth breathing is really great. Also, what else would be? Eating like grounding foods, which is going to be any kind of like root vegetables, potatoes, carrots, beets, anything that is in the ground or was in the ground is going to be helpful for that. But grounding yourself in this present time after doing a spiritual cleanse. Spirit is saying that you are going to feel so much better if you allow yourself to do that. Okay, now I want to pull from A Little Rain deck. Parrot flower. Huh, I haven't seen this one yet. Pretty. Let's go ahead and see what it says. I'm going to actually pull the book out because I am not familiar with these cards. I'll probably never have them all memorized. JKLMNOP. Parrot flower. Confusion, adversity, illusion. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to read like from right here. Just like the illusionary and elusive nature of the parrot flower, this card suggests that you may be mired in confusion. There could be some trickery afoot, and the time has come for you to embark on a challenging journey to find the truth. Someone close to you might be being dishonest with you. Stay vigilant and take efforts to prevent yourself from being deceived. This may be the time to lean on those who you can fully trust to steer you through the fog. Conversely, parrot flowers encourage deception just as much as they signal it. What have your recent actions been working towards? Check in with your intentions and be open with yourself if you've been operating fastidiously. I've never even seen that word. You may have tried to influence someone to see your side when you know you weren't in the right, or perhaps you wish to present a different side of yourself to give those around you an altered view of who you really are. Whether you have good or bad intentions at heart, remember there's no reason to change yourself or use deceit to get your way. What may seem beneficial in the moment can have long-lasting repercussions, and it only takes one close look to see petals for feathers. Okay. I feel like that was pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to embellish on it at all, but that is what I have for you. There is an extra part of your reading that I will get to at the very end, but before that, so there is like something a little extra, a little special for you that I hope you'll stick around for. But before I do that, I do just want to briefly say thank you to Tarot Stack for sponsoring us. If you would like more content from me, I have my courses available to you. I have one that's for vision boarding that literally you will get everything that you want off your vision board with this. It's a masterclass. And then I have a 4-week course that is currently $55, $167 off. You can also book me for a private reading. All of that is available on KhloeTaylor.com. I also have my Patreon, which if you want to support me and help me stay fed, feeling good, my Patreon really does that for me. Patreon is the reason that I can even like podcast or do things like this free on the internet. So please consider supporting me there if you want to get some extra content and if you like what I do here. I offer tarot and astrology updates, vlogging content, and extra pick-a cards. So it's really a fun place to be. I love my patrons. And if you'd like to follow me around the web, I am at Kloee Taylor everywhere. I have the check mark on Instagram. I do not have a backup account, and I will never offer you a reading in your DMs. So that's a scam if you ever see that. And leave me the butterfly emoji if you stuck around to get the final segment of your reading. So the final segment that we're going to be doing from now on is something that I like to call tarot smut or self-transformation. And we're going to see what you get by asking Siri. Hey Siri, can you pick a number for me between 1 and 3?
I found this on the web.
Oh, Siri, come on. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
It's 2.
2. All right. So we're doing smut for you because it was tarot smut or self-transformation. So smut, how I love smut, how much I love reading smut. You know, I love reading tarot, I love reading smut, and I love reading self-transformation. So for the smut, if you didn't watch my podcast this week, I already talked about one book, but I'm going to talk about something different with you today. I recently read, oh my gosh, what was that book called? I'll put the picture up here, of course. Apples Dipped in Gold. Okay, I recently read this. It was a novella by Scarlett St. Clair. I literally finished it 2 nights ago. It was really good, but it was like, it definitely dealt with like a lot of abuse in it. Like, not from the character's lover, thank goodness, the love interest, but like the main protagonist definitely endured a lot of abuse. So it was a little bit like sad, but the sexy scenes were really sexy. I really loved the relationship that built in it. And the story, it's actually a series of novellas that they're all like retellings of fairy tales. So the first one is called Mountains Made of Glass, which I liked a little bit more, which was Beauty and the Beast. This one was a Snow White retelling. They're really short. They're like in the 200-page category, but the smut scenes were excellent. And if you're into that kind of thing and you're looking for a short read that's really well written, I would highly encourage that for you. So that's my smut update. Thank you so much for sticking around. I love and appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. I love you. Bye. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the light blue candle, this is going to be your reading. So let me go ahead and actually just stand this up really quick on this plate with all of the other ones that have already been done. If you didn't know, that's how you get a candle to stand up. You just have to light the bottom a little bit. Okay, so we will do your intention candle, but before we get into any of it, I do just need to say thank you for sitting through this ad read, as this is what allows me to keep food on my table, keep my bills paid, and keep me making free content on the internet. So thank you so much for allowing me to make sponsored content and to show up. And thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. If you're unfamiliar with them, they are an online tarot deck distributor. They distribute indie decks all over the place. And I love them because you get really unique decks. The quality is always really high. You also get like rare decks. I don't know if I said this before, but like this deck, it's a book to one of the decks we're going to use today. I literally have a certificate of authenticity. There were only 2,000 of this deck made. And so you get like really rare decks as well, which is really cool. And I love Tarot Stack. We actually put a bundle together for the summer for y'all this year that I will link down below with my coupon code for it. And I hope you'll give them a check out if you've been looking for a new deck. They are literally my favorite distributor. They have always come through. Always, always, always. Even before they were like sponsoring me, I literally used to shop from their website. So they always have amazing decks, amazing quality. They're really quick on time on getting decks to you. And it just feels good to know that you're getting something that isn't just like mass marketed, you know, mass produced, or even like stolen, you know, from other creators. You know, it's like actually from there. So good stuff. So thank you so much, Tarot Stack. Their link and all of the decks we use today are going to be from there. So I'll link all of them down below for you. And let's get into it. So we're actually doing an intention candle today. And if you chose the light blue candle, this one is for you. So light blue, I find that this candle color often corresponds to like a lightness of emotion, of wanting to maybe like transcend some heavier emotion. You can also use blue candles to like summon rain, especially if the sky is already cloudy. It's like easier to kind of summon rain. Blue also corresponds to, who is blue? I want to say no, it's not Cancer. It's not Virgo. Who is blue in the zodiac? It's not Aries. It's not Taurus. It's not Gemini. I don't think it might be Cancer. I might be wrong about that. I want to say Libra actually possibly is blue. I don't know. I'd have to actually look up the reference. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. Anyways, you can use this candle for any intention that you want. So those were just some pointers that I had for you. But you can use it for anything, any feeling that you want to have in your life. Because oftentimes when we have something that we're calling into our life, it's not usually the physical thing that we really want. It's how we want that thing to make us feel. So if you can get in touch with the feeling first, you're going to have a lot more success in calling it in. So take a moment, pause the video, think on what you want to call into your life. And then once you're ready, let's go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths, holding that feeling in your body. And one more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take my enchanted lighter, and we're going to give this candle a light. Ooh. The wick like really was like, it did like this whole dance. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if my camera picked it up, but it did this like really intricate like swivel around move. And I feel like that's always a good sign of that, like maybe in your life you're currently pivoting. Okay, So I'm going to let that burn for you. If it doesn't burn all the way out in this video, it will burn on my altar after the fact. So you will get the energy of this sent back to you, whatever it is that you're calling in. Candle magic is extremely easy. And I have like a true testimony of candle magic. It has always worked for me. It's a beautiful thing, 10 out of 10. If y'all want a masterclass on candle magic, please let me know. I'd be happy to make that. But let's go ahead and get into your card reading, my friends. All right. Oh no. What in the actual, bestie? 3 of Swords. Okay. Okay. 10 of Cups. 5 of Crystals. 4 of Cups. Emperor. Ooh. Chile. Oh my goddess gracious. This is giving intensity. Okay. So these cards resemble where you currently are, not where you're going. So just wanted to keep that in mind. But I need to organize these a little better. So the current energy is not looking so good. Sorry, I just bumped my microphone. I apologize if that made a loud noise. Okay, either you are in the midst of a breakup of some kind or you're like considering breaking up. There is something about a breakup. So if you have not broken up with a friend or a significant other, or that's not something that's currently coming up, disregard and go pick another pile, because this is my breakup pile for sure. I say this because the 3 of Swords talks about a breakup. That's like the energy of breaking up, of making a disconnect, possibly of someone that you have been with for a really long time. I'm hearing like 10 years or more, most likely. Some of you, it could have been shorter, but excuse me. At one time, the relationship was really happy and really beautiful. But lately, there's been a lot of fighting and a lot of tension. And you've been constantly blaming yourself, when the reality of the situation is that they have never changed and they're not going to. And you keep trying to force yourself to fit with this person. Like, this to me is almost like you keep taking your ex back. Like, they might have even been your ex at one time and then you took them back. That was a mistake, bestie. Like, don't get me wrong. I think we can always learn from those people, even if we end up, like, some people become exes and then they do get back together and it totally works out. I think for this, like, there were more things you had to learn from each other, but not in a romantic capacity. The relationship has been rocky for a long time. I am not predicting your breakup. I am literally telling you the current energy. So if you do not feel like you're currently in this energy, this reading is probably not for you and you should choose again. Shit has been on rocks for a while. Okay, things have been tension filled. It's not to say that there have been 0 good times, but there has been a lot of not good times. And you are constantly picking yourself apart and hurting yourself and sacrificing yourself to try to make this relationship work. And you're not seeing the writing on the walls that this relationship is not good for you. It's not healthy for you. It's not good for you. Like, honestly, Spirit is saying that you need to start, if you don't believe this, if you're having a hard time fathoming it, but it is resonating, you need to start keeping track of the days that the relationship feels really good and the times that it doesn't. Not because you're going to take this score to them and then use it as a way to like abuse them. Don't do that. But just so that you can see how this relationship has been impacting you. Because I feel like you don't have the data and you're somebody that works really well with data. And you're not seeing how many bad days you actually have because this relationship is not healthy for you. And with the 5 of Crystals, this to me is like, even the arguing that you get into, you really want change. You really want to reach harmony with this person. They don't want that with you. And they're not willing to fess up to the fact that they fell out of love with you a really long time ago. And I'm hearing like situationship. You benefit them in so many ways that they're afraid to let you go because they're afraid that their entire situation will change. So they keep like breadcrumbing you. They keep giving you little things that like show that they've changed, but really nothing has changed. And this has been an ongoing thing. And what you're needing in order for this relationship to work is radical change. And it's not, with this person, it's not going to happen because it wasn't meant to. And the Four of Cups, you have been dissatisfied for a really long time, like years. These problems have persisted for years. The Emperor popping out, this to me tells me that you are somebody that you have to put up a big masculine front all the time in order to be in the relationship with this person, and you're realizing that you're really unhappy. Now, please remember, every single one of us has masculine and feminine energy. You are not meant to just be in one 24/7. I myself use my masculine energy when I show up for my business all the time. But I've come to learn and understand that I prefer relaxing and receiving and letting go and allowing myself to be a little more taken care of and supported by the universe instead of going off and like charging. I do feel like this reading, I'm not trying to be exclusive here, but I am really feeling that this reading is for people that have a menstrual cycle. And so if that doesn't apply to you, I would also tell you that this reading isn't for you. This one is like really particular. Man, this is the second reading that something like this has popped up today. I feel like there's a lot of divine feminine energy being drawn to my channel. Maybe it's because I give off that frequency. I don't know. But something that I'm getting here is like, it's okay to want to be more supported. It's okay to ask for your needs to be met. And this person hasn't been meeting your needs. Now, they're not supposed to meet all your needs. We know that. Nobody is supposed to meet all of your needs. This is why we have friends. This is why we have ourself, right? This is why we don't get all of our needs met from one individual person. That can lead to a really toxic relationship. But you have been wanting to kind of step your foot off the gas, and this person doesn't allow you to do that. And they are actually really in their feminine energy. And for this relationship specifically, now I'm not saying two feminine energies can't work, but what I am saying is that in this specific context, this person is really deep in their feminine. They are in their divine feminine energy, and you're really in your hyper masculine, and it's not good for either of you. It's almost like you're in your toxic masculine and they're in their toxic feminine. So how does this look? The toxic masculine is overproducing, overdoing, constantly being at the same speed and same pace every single day and feeling like if you can't do that, you're a failure. Toxic feminine is constantly being in a state of rest, constantly being in a state of like never taking any kind of action, even though you might have goals that they're just not being met. Because there is this like deep desire to always be the one in rest mode. And that can also lead to like rotting your soul. I don't know as much, like the toxic feminine I know is also like very manipulative, to like get their way. There's a lot of manipulation, but I know a lot less about the toxic feminine. I know more about the toxic masculine because I myself have been through that, putting myself in that. But the thing is, if you're somebody that menstruates, which I feel like you are, if you are on this reading still listening to me, you literally don't have the same kind of energy that somebody who is in their masculine more so has. You cannot maintain masculine energy. It will literally make you sick. Like, if you think that you can show up every single week of your life as the same person, you're wrong. Because hormonally, you're not designed to do that. Hormonally, literally in your luteal phase, when you are like about to menstruate, your brain notices more. I was recently talking with a friend about this. Your brain literally notices more details and you're more likely to get frustrated. You're more likely to get frustrated because you're hyper aware. And like clutter will stress you out, and little things that your partner does will piss you off more because you're hyper aware of all of your surroundings. Also, PMDD is a real thing, but I am not diagnosing anybody. I'm not a doctor. But there's like this, every week you do show up differently. Like during ovulation, you would have a lot of energy to give towards your creative passions, to give towards people in your life, to give energy towards. Like the week of ovulation is where you're like really in your masculine and you can like move the same almost like as somebody that's in their masculine. But every other week you're doing something different hormonally and your body is changing. When somebody has a biological makeup of like masculine hormones, they can literally show up with the same 24-hour clock every single day. They don't have this like loop around of every week something is different. And so when you're trying to execute on that, you're doing this like 50 fucking hard challenge or something, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your essence. And you're meant to live more cyclically. And this relationship doesn't honor that. They see you the way that they see themselves. And honestly, I feel like they possibly have narcissistic tendency. I'm not saying that they are narcissists, but the energy I'm tapping into, it gives more of a narcissistic tendency where they are always comparing you to their experience. And obviously we all can like fall and be guilty of that when we don't have another experience other than our own, but they're not showing the same compassion that you give to them. And they honestly, I'm telling you, I just keep hearing situationship. There's something about that. Okay, let's keep going. No wonder you picked the light blue candle and need emotional healing. This relationship's got you messed up, bestie. Ooh, this just flipped over. Fairy Bridge. That's a cool card. All right. Heart Maze. And Dreams. Excuse me. So, Fairy Bridge, honestly, I almost want to pull the book out of this. Let me grab it. I say that because this deck is newer to me. I can usually intuit the cards pretty well, and I have some good guesses, but I just want to double check that we're not missing something. So, 40... Fairy Bridge. The Fairy Bridge presents an opportunity to live in a mystical world, leaving more dense realities behind. It's a shift in perspective. Fairies love to play tricks and trip you up because they love to play. If you're feeling frustrated by little things, lost keys, spilt coffee, parking tickets, etc., try to shift your focus. So much of life is wild and big, so why think small? The fairies remind us to laugh off the little things. You're having a hard time doing that because you're in an environment with a person that doesn't allow it. Like, I don't like this person for you, bestie. Heart Maze. This is all about having complications of the heart. This is literally what we've been talking about. And then the Dream card, it's reminding you that logic can't solve all of your problems. I think you tend to also do things from the hypermasculine and from the logical brain versus letting things be more spiritual. And Spirit is also saying that, like, in order to get into your playful energy and feel better, I'm not saying you need to break up. I think that's you do what you want to do with that information. I'm never going to like advise you on that unless like you're a private client and you come to me and ask me that question directly. But you need to get back into your lightness of being and focus more on feminine energy and aligning yourself with that. And I think you're already on your way. I'm hearing that you've already been kind of vesting yourself in this, and it's something you've needed to do for a long time. You felt called and pulled to it. And I really think going through this experience of realigning yourself with your feminine energy, it's going to show you really fast how this relationship is probably not going to stand through that. And I don't know why this message is coming through like this. I'm seeing and feeling like a lot. And I'm not trying to demonize this person either. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're just bad for you. I also feel like you might want to start listening to your dreams a little bit more. Like you're going to have some kind of prophetic dream about this. and maybe like an ancestor is going to show you something. There's definitely something about like having dreams. All right, let's see. Be the bigger person. Your kindness is your strength. You know what? You've been the bigger person. I'm not saying you need to be petty, but I think for quite some time, you've actually been the bigger person in this situation, and that is burning you out. We also have Ambon damselfish. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Your opinion matters. So this is also about connecting to your voice and having strength with that. Do not silence yourself. Do not silence yourself in this relationship, because it's going to lead to resentment if you do, and then you're building an even weaker foundation with them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and see what your body needs at this time. All right. Pleasure. Okay. I love that. I'll explain in a minute. Not that it needs much explaining. And yawn. How funny. Okay. So, pleasure, literally spending more time pleasuring yourself, spending more time in pleasure practice. Now, this can be read two ways. I also want to make room for my asexual babies. That if you're not into somebody who enjoys a pleasure practice, it's not your vibe. I don't claim to know everything about asexual people, but if you're somebody that doesn't like to do that, you can experience pleasure in other ways. So experiencing taste, touch, smell, things that get you into your pleasurable awareness. Those of you that do love a little solo action, really get in touch with your own, like literally set a practice with yourself. It doesn't have to be every day, because that's like a lot to ask sometimes. But getting into like a routine pleasure practice, I'm going to try not to say too much, because YouTube gets mad sometimes when you say things that maybe would be a little 18 plusy, which you shouldn't be on my channel if you're not over 18. I do not read for children. But with pleasure practice and like edging, I guess. You could have a practice of like edging and then giving to yourself a few days later. Like, see if you can really tap into that about what your body needs, because I really think that there is something about your pleasurable experience with this person that maybe has even blocked you off a little. And I'm just going to say it. If that person is always giving you UTIs, or the sex is not feeling good, or like something is always hurting, I am a big believer that like sometimes that is a message about that relationship. Like your body will reject that person before your heart will. Not always. I do think obviously there are some people that have like chronic issues for other reasons, but if that's something that crops up for you, I would just say like take a closer look at that. But getting into your own pleasure practice and recognizing what you really love, and like how you like to be touched and caressed. And then yawning is actually how we release. I don't know if you knew this, but like spiritually speaking, you release a lot every time you yawn. And yes, it's also how your brain like gets more oxygen when you're feeling a little more tired, but yawning also energetically helps to release energy. So yawning, it also like, I want to say it was Catherine Zankina talked about during a plant medicine ceremony, how she was yawning a bunch and it was like her ancestors purging. Like it was really crazy. Anyways, yawning just like feels good in the body. So let yourself do it. Don't hold it back, basically. And let's see. I want to go ahead and pull a little rain oracle card for you. fern. Cute. Super cute. Okay, let's see what this fern is about. I do not have these cards memorized at all, and I probably never will, so we are going to use the book here. Okay. Change is inevitable. People grow and evolve into different beings all the time. And while growth is good, it's always important to remember your core values and beliefs. Stay on the path you're destined to be on instead of coming under the influence of others. You're a unique individual with a definite purpose to fulfill on this earth, and you must see that. Dig deep into the soil and feel the security of the foundations you've built along the way. Even if you don't think so, your roots are there. Find them and let them bolster you when all else fails. When you draw this card, dig deep. Never stop believing in yourself. Know that nothing is impossible if you put your mind to something, and remember, persistence and steadiness are the keys to finishing the race, no matter how long. All right, so that's that. I have more, a special segment to the end of your reading. If you stick with me for a minute, we'll get to it in a second. There is more, but first I just want to give an extra thank you to Tarot Stack for sponsoring us. I want to mention my courses. If you want to sign up, one of them is currently discounted to $55. It's $167 off my Authentically Aligned course. It's a 4-week course that helps you reset your life. I also have my masterclass Vision Board to Destiny that literally, if you want to make a new vision board, you will get everything on this vision board. Like, it is my foolproof method that it guides you through exactly step by step how to do it. I with proof, like in the masterclass, there is also proof. I love this masterclass. I designed it myself, and it's a process that I myself to this day still use when I am doing a new vision board, because it doesn't just help you make the board, it helps you understand psychologically why it works and what you can do to get it to work if it hasn't worked for you before. So really cool masterclass. Definitely check that out. If you'd like to support me, put more food on my table, put a little more money in my piggy bank, help me to create more content like this, please consider subscribing to my Patreon, available to you, linked down below. I put out things like astrology and tarot reports, extra pick-a cards, themes for the month, as well as I vlog to my Patreon community. So if you want like more of a personal experience from me, what I do behind the scenes, definitely check that out. Follow me around the web at Kloee Taylor. I am the one with the check mark on Instagram and Threads. If anybody ever rolls up into your DMs offering you a reading, it is a scam. I will never do that. I do not have a backup account. And leave me this emoji if you've stayed until the new segment that you're going to hear in just a minute. Leave me this little heart in the comments, and let's go ahead and get into this new segment that I'm adding to my videos. It is called Tarot Smut or Self-Transformation. So we're going to have Siri pick a number between 1 and 3 for us, and we're going to see what you're getting. Hey Siri, can you pick a number between 1 and 3?
It's 3.
It's 3. You're getting self-transformation. So in terms of self-transformation, let's see, what's my best hot take? If I could tell somebody one thing, if I could tell somebody one thing to transform their life in this moment, if somebody gave me a microphone and I was like, yes, the number one thing that will change your life is self-trust. If you learn to intimately, deeply trust yourself, your life will change foundationally. And in all the ways that we abandon ourselves, in all the problems that we have, it all literally, I believe it is like an epidemic on today's planet, on today's world, in society. The lack of self-trust is an epidemic. And how you gain self-trust is actually a lot easier than you might think. It's not necessarily about doing all the shadow work and going in and doing this big, long healing journey. Literally, it's so simple. The way that you get more self-trust, if you don't trust yourself, is by building rapport with yourself and showing up for yourself when you say that you will. And don't get me wrong, I think it's really important to have discernment and not overload your plate all the time. But if you are really in touch with yourself and you trust yourself, you wouldn't overload your plate to begin with. But it's really important to, when you say you're going to do something, you need to follow through with it. It is how you will build rapport. And I have found that through some of my darkest times in my life, when I don't trust myself, when I had no foundation of self-trust, that was the thing that hurt me the most. was I would say I wanted to do all these things, and then the day would come and I didn't feel like it. So I just wouldn't do it. And over time, you stop trusting that you're going to execute anything in your life if you continue to do that with no results. And don't even get me started on like the millennial generation as a whole, how like many of us have been conditioned to believe that our hard work doesn't garner results because so many of us chose to go to school because we were all promised good jobs and like a home and a family, and then like everybody got slapped with student debt and all the job markets suck and like it was not what we were promised. We already all have a really hard relationship with working on something to actually get a reward out of it based on the climate of today's world. And Teal Swan actually has a whole video on millennials that really covers this in detail that's really well done. But that is how you build trust with yourself, is by allowing yourself to like show up for the things that you want to show up for you. And that to me is like the foundation, is even if you just pick one task a day, even if the task is drink a glass of water every morning, showing up for that every single day consistently, that is how you're going to build rapport with yourself and start to trust yourself again. And if you trust yourself, you literally wouldn't even need tarot card readings. You'd be able to do it for yourself. So, which would make my job obsolete, but like if you trusted yourself, I'm fine with my job being obsolete. That's more important to me. So that's my hot take. That's my self-transformation hot take. I hope you like this segment. And don't forget to leave me that emoji down below if you listen to all of this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for letting me read for you. I love you. I appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number 4, if you chose this blue candle, this dark blue candle, this is going to be your reading. I'm just going to go ahead and get this set up to, ooh, okay, carefully. Get this sitting up straight. Oh gosh, that is hot, 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 hot. Okay. All right, we chose the blue candle. We had a bit of a struggle getting her on here because I probably should have used something bigger. But this is going to be your reading. Now, before we get into the actual reading, I do just want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor. Thank you so much, by the way, y'all, for listening to my ad reads. They help put food on my table. They help get me paid as a creator. YouTube AdSense is kind of garbage, to be honest, and it's very volatile. So having sponsorships actually really does support me. So thank y'all for sitting through these ad reads. I appreciate it, especially for such a great company too, though. So thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know, Tarot Stack is an online tarot deck distributor. They help get indie decks seen and get them out there into the hands of everyone, which I really love and appreciate. Even before Tarot Stack and I ever had a relationship or like started working together, I used to purchase from their company on my own because their decks are always flawless, high quality. You know you're getting something rare, or something at the very least that has been made by an independent creator instead of something mass marketed, or worse, like stolen. There's a lot of tarot decks out there that are stolen and then resold on other websites for a fraction of the price, where here you're actually getting the high quality original. And some of the decks are also really, really rare, like the A Little Rain that we will be using today. I literally have a certificate of authenticity because this deck, there were only 2,000 of them made. So they have rare decks as well, and I just love them. So thank you so much, Tarot Stack. All the decks we use in today's reading are from there. You can get them. I will link them. Tarot Stack and I also did a summer bundle together that I will link down below. If you use my coupon code, you get a discount on it. So everything down below, and thank you, Tarot Stack. Now let's get into it. So first and foremost, we're going to do your intention candle that I don't know if I left it in here or not in post, but your candle burned me a little bit when I tried to set it up. So y'all's energy is spicy, but this candle, blue actually resembles like emotional. I use blue candles usually when I want to like calm my emotions, or if I'm about to have a really difficult conversation, I will light a blue candle to help with everybody's emotional awareness. So just something to keep in mind as we're setting intention with this. You don't have to use the candle that way. You can use it for literally anything. I don't care if you want a Birkin, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a car, a job, money. It doesn't matter. You can use this candle however you want, but if you want to go with a color correspondence, blue typically tends to lean towards our emotional intelligence or our emotional well-being. So let's go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths. And if you haven't thought of what you want to call into your life, pause this video now and take a moment to think on it. Let's go ahead and take those deep breaths. Focus on the feeling, because most often when you want something in your life, it's the feeling that that thing can give you that you actually desire. It's not usually the physical thing, even though that physical thing is a representation of that feeling. So if you can tap into the feeling now, you're way more likely to call it into your life easier. So one more deep breath. Also, dang, I don't know if y'all saw that, but that other blue candle from pile number 3, it burned out faster than any of the other candles. Like, yes, it was sitting a little closer to this candle, so maybe it got hotter faster, but it literally, like, within like 30 minutes, it was done. Y'all, whoever, if you're here from pile 3, y'all from pile 3 needed that reading. You needed that candle. I'm happy that you were here. Okay, we're going to take our enchanted lighter and we're going to light this candle. Set those intentions ablaze, if you know what I mean. Ooh, y'all burned really, really, really big there for a second. Still kind of big. Actually, the purple flame back here is kind of big too. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of gently push this back here into the corner so you can keep your eye on it. But it's going to just live back there. I think I also got a little wax on my set. It's okay. Y'all were spicy. Let's go ahead and get into the cards now. So, oh no, bestie, what is going on? We are starting out with the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups, the Hanged Man, the Page of Cups, the Moon, and the Hermits. I want to say pile number 1 also had, or pile 2 had the Hermit in their reading as well. So there may be a correlation. The Moon is about our emotions, so maybe you've been dealing with some intense feelings. Okay, this is the current energy that we're sitting with. So 5 of Cups, you're feeling sad, bestie. There is something that you have lost. In fact, we're going to draw one more card and see, Spirit, what feels like, what does pile number 4, like what have they lost? What do they feel like they've lost that they're really focused on? What does pile number 4 feel like they have lost? Connection. 3 of Diamonds is usually like a support system of some kind, supportive people. It could be, I feel like this is more like friendship, family, somebody who supports you. You've lost some kind of support in your life. Maybe you just went through a friendship breakup or you're worried that your friendship is on thin ice. The Hanged Man says that right now you've been kind of in this like still state. And you're not really sure which way you're going. You're just trying to, like, the advice, honestly, is to work on your perspective right now. Like, you need to gain a new perspective, and that's why this relationship you've been going through a struggle with connectivity with other, because you've been needing to, honestly, be more self-focused. When we have the Hermit, the Page of Cups, the Hanged Man, you're alone on purpose. Like the person in your life that maybe you've had to disconnect from, it also could be multiple people. Like it could be you and 2 other people. Where there is a disconnect in your life, It's because you are meant to gain a perspective that is all your own. You are actually meant to become like the hermit, which is taking intentional time away from others to fill your own well and to become who you want to be in this lifetime. This is actually a blessing. I know it feels hard right now, especially with the moon, which is about our emotions, things that feel hidden. You're feeling not so great, but the answer here is that you're gaining a new perspective and things are going to improve if you let them. Because the Page of Cups, this is about seeing life through rose colored glasses. This is about moving forward in life and feeling good about, or excuse me, the Page of Cups is it is life through rose colored glasses, not as much as like the Knight of Cups, but it's a similar vibe of like expecting the unexpected, not in a dramatic or scary way, in a fun and playful way, where something unexpected is going to come from this. You might find that you actually make a friend that you jive so much more with. You might find that you end up in a relationship or a partnership where you get everything you've been asking for and they just give it to you easily because the person you were with was not the right person. Or when it comes to friends, you know, maybe you've been in a lot of instances where people have not felt aligned with you, but now you meet someone and it's like, oh, this is what it feels like to meet someone and you feel like the conversation is aligned. So there is better coming for you, but right now you are meant to be more focused on your internal landscape and transmuting shadow work and gaining a new perspective. But life is not meant to be all doom and gloom. I know that social media would convince you of that. The news would convince you of that, but it's not. And this part of your life that you're in that feels uncomfortable, it's a growth moment that is going to lead to better things. I know it's hard right now, so this might just be hard to see, but we're going to go ahead and use the Pixie Oracle and see what comes up. Ooh, escape. Okay. Waves. Oh, interesting, interesting. Exploration. I feel like this is so pointed. So I laugh because it's uncomfortable. This is so pointed because we have Saturn in Pisces right now for the next like 2 years. And obviously, this affects people that are in a Saturn return more. But even if you're not in your Saturn return, the reason that this impacts everyone is Saturn, it always makes an aspect in some way. And Pisces, the sign that Saturn is in right now, Pisces is usually about how we escape life. But when you have Saturn sitting on top of it basically forces your hand and says, no, you will look at this. You will look at the habits that you have that are not supporting you. You will look at the relationships that do not give you what you desire. You will look at, this could even, haven't you noticed in like online culture in particular, there is a huge emphasis right now of sobriety. Many content creators have come out and like gone sober. This is really, really like, I want to say two people that I'm aware of are Nikki DeMar has gone sober, and so has, or at least she did for a time. I don't know if she still is. Same with Jaclyn Hill. She also is like about to celebrate 1 year sober. Like people, I'm talking about like YouTubers, but I think it's been more common in all of social media. There's been a lot of this huge push towards sobriety. I myself don't drink alcohol so much anymore, and I gave up all caffeine because I was abusing it. And so like I bring this up because, especially because there's a cup here too, which is funny. But there is something about like the ways in which you try to escape life, you're no longer able to do that. And the waves, like you're being forced to face a really harsh truth that you've been trying to avoid. You're also afraid to make waves in your life, but you have to. It's a part of life. Everybody makes waves. Everybody ruffles feathers. It is a normal part of the human experience. And you're meant to be more focused on self exploration and how you can explore the current landscape that you're in. And like being open to whatever comes. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the below the surface deck and just see maybe something that we might be missing. Excuse me. While I was shuffling these cards, I also saw like routines coming out. Like maybe you need to focus on more of a having like a stable foundation of a routine if you don't have one. But we also got Siamese fighting fish. Your commitment is everything, even if that requires doing it alone. So being more committed to yourself and your path, it like I'm telling you, pile number 4, the right people will not ask you to choose. The right people will see the direction you're going and say, you know what, that direction might not be for me, but I love that for you. I know this because in my own friendships, this is how I am. I might not love a certain path for myself, but I can say, hey, you know what, bestie, I think you're doing something really cool. Good for you. And then we have common octopus, solve any problem. Your mind is your most significant advantage. So your mind is not your enemy. It's actually your advantage. It's time to reframe. It's time to reframe that. Your mind is your advantage. You have the ability to work through what you're currently dealing with, even if it feels hard. And you are probably going to have to go in alone, where maybe previously you would have done it with connection or in group or with other people. Spirit is ultimately saying that like you're going to have to be doing some stuff by yourself. And especially because you've got the Hermit card as well, it's time to problem solve on your own. Scent. Okay, so this is for your body, what your body needs. We have scent and ebb. Okay. Oof, your reading is just kind of harsh. I'm not going to lie to you about it, bestie. So ebb is always kind of a difficult card because everybody wants to be in the flow. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody wants to like be in the flow of life and feel good. But you can't have flow without ebb. There are moments that are just difficult. I talked about this in a recent podcast episode of mine, actually, where I was talking about how there is such this culture online that perpetuates this every year is my year. I'm in my main character arc, da 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 da. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really cool to go through that with yourself if it's good for you, if it's helping you. But not every year of your life is going to be amazing. Period. There are going to be years where you're in the void and it sucks and you're just trying to figure shit out, but that's how you grow. So I feel like right now you're in an ebb. You're in a point where things don't feel like they're flowing and they don't feel good. And instead of just sitting in that and letting yourself marinate in that and feel the full experience of it, you're scrambling to try to get out. You're trying to escape. And Spirit says, no, you need to sit and feel this experience. And with scent coming out, I do feel like this is going to help you more than hurt you. I don't think it'll hurt you at all, in fact, is what are some comforting scents? You need to be paying more attention to your sense of smell. For example, I'm a story healer, so I always put stories in my readings. I think they give a practical guide to tarot. But a way that I would use scent in my life, I love, even though it is not crunchy girl approved or al dente girly approved, I love Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin from Bath and Body Works. It's like one of my favorite smells of all time. It has such like a childhood nostalgia for me that like really puts me in like a happy point in my childhood. And I buy the hand sanitizer and the soap every time it comes out because when I smell this smell, it just like puts me in a good mood. I remember like playing with my Barbies and putting on my little Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin lotion, and it just puts me in a good place. And scent can be so powerful. Was there a perfume that you used to wear that you remembered it from a time period in your life where you felt some type of way? Get that scent. Is there a type of tree? Like for me, I also grew up with jasmine vines on my home. And so the smell of fresh jasmine puts me in this like time period where I remembered like being with nature as a kid and like feeling really protected by that. And like scent can be such a powerful thing that evokes emotion of comfort and of grounding. So, Spirit is saying you need to get in touch with scent. It's going to help you. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a card from this A Little Rain Oracle. Hydrangea. You got hydrangea. Okay. Let's see what the book has to say about that. Ooh, I flipped right to it. Hydrangeas show great adaptability and flexibility in terms of change and environment. They'll survive in acid or alkaline climates, with the only result being a difference in appearance. Their resilience and diversity represent a strong show of faith and determination. So when you draw this card, use it to channel your inner warrior. Seek to not only survive in whatever circumstance life throws your way, but thrive. You may be going through some significant life changes soon, so the card serves as a means to help you prepare. You need to change with the times rather than expect the times to change with you. Whether your circumstances of change are foreseen or not, you need to open your heart and soul to the opportunities the universe is bringing your way. This could show up in shifting personal boundaries or reevaluating your morals. Let others know how you're feeling and allow them to help you facilitate these changes. They're the soil and you're the flower. You'll turn into something even more beautiful no matter what direction life pulls you in, so embrace it and go with the flow. So I do feel like you're on the precipice of some major change. That's why this original reading popped out with these 5 or 6 cards technically, because there is a major transition that you're going through. And you're meant to just let this ebb because eventually you're going to flow. And I do have another segment to your reading that I will get to in just a second if you'll stick with me. I'm doing a new segment at the end of all of my readings where you have the potential to get an even more like longer reading. So stick with me. But first and foremost, thank you Tarot Stack for sponsoring us. If you would like to get my courses, I have the masterclass in a course, technically. Authentically Aligned is my 4-week course that leads you through reevaluating your life and setting yourself up for success. And it's really good. It's currently $55. It used to be $222. If you use code ECLIPSE2024, you get it for $167 off. I also have my Vision Board to Destiny Masterclass. If you want to make a new vision board for yourself, I promise you this is the masterclass. Like, you will get results. I have a foolproof method. I have proof in the masterclass. I show you how it works. I break it down for you step by step. It is the way that I use this process constantly in my own life still, and I still get results. So if you feel like you struggle with that, definitely join in on that masterclass. It's available to you. And if you would like to support me, put more food on my table in a way, if you've got a little extra to go around, please consider joining my Patreon. I put out extra tarot and lifestyle content over there. So you get like vlogs from me, tarot and astrology reports, extra pick a cards. It's a really good time. I love my Patreon and my patrons. Y'all are so special. And if you want to follow me around the web, I'm at Kloee Taylor. I have the check mark on Instagram and Threads. So if you don't see that, it's not me. I don't have a backup account. And if anybody ever shows up in your DMs offering you a reading, I will never do that. So it's a scam. Don't listen to them. And leave me this emoji if you stayed until the end. I would love to see that. Now let's get into the rest of your reading. So I'm doing this new segment that you're going to see. Oh my gosh, your candle is leaning so hard, friends. We need to watch what happens here. I'm going to just shift that up a little bit because I'm a little nervous that it's going to fall down into the other candle. I think it's going to be okay, but that's like when the candle leans like that, it kind of seemed like it was leaning away from like me. So if the candle is leaning away, I really see that as like leaning, again, trying to escape, leaning away from life's problems. You got to be careful with that. So just pay attention to that. That's not even the part of the reading I was going to get into. We're going to ask Siri, tarot smut or self-transformation, and get into it. So let's go ahead and ask. Hey Siri, can you pick a number between 1 and 3?
It's 3.
3. All right, self-transformation. So you in pile number 3 got self-transformation. I don't know. Your candle is really wanting to lean. I'll make sure that it stays, but that's to me a big sign. Anyways, self-transformation. What can I tell you about self-transformation? I don't want to give you the same reading as pile 3, so let's just at random here. Okay, self-transformation. I feel like something that is really undervalued, that is so helpful, is changing what you listen to. If you're trying to change your life, I do think sometimes we can overdo it. So you need to make sure that you're at like a balanced place in your life where you're going to like be safe. But I think there is so much to be said about like filling your mind and your time with things and content that is going to support where you're going. If you have goals in your life to like succeed, run a business, find some kind of a relationship, you need to be absorbing that kind of information, not absorbing reality TV or I give that as an example because I know it's really popular. Not saying you can't enjoy yourself sometimes and like enjoy that on your rot day or whatever, but if you're consuming that every single day, it's not going to help you get closer to your goals. So what kind of content that would actually help you, filter it, go through your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever it is that you use, allow it to be a source for good to help you by filtering out the things that are not currently aligned with your path. So removing people you follow, or like don't engage with posts that you don't want to see. If you're in your self-care era, engage with posts that show self-care, because then the algorithm will give you more of that. And it's, to me, it's such an underrated tool, as so many of us spend our lives on social media now because it's just way more common. Let it be a tool that's going to inspire you and help you, not continuously tell yourself the same story over and over and over again. Because if you're paying attention and relating to someone about something, but then you find that that's your whole story and your whole personality, it's because it's like a feedback loop of the same thing. In order to shift your perspective, you have to start engaging with things that shift your perspective. So a little bit of a different take on some self-transformation, but some of my biggest moments in life changed when I like fundamentally changed my daily habits in not letting myself just consume things that were not supporting me. So that's your self-transformation for today. And thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.